Now, fighting is raging as we speak in northern Gaza. 30 IDF soldiers have lost their lives so far in the ground operation in the Gaza Strip. The most senior of those, it was Lieutenant Colonel Salman Habaka, commander of the 188th Armored Brigade's 53rd Battalion, killed in action on November 2nd. The 33-year-old Habaka hailed from the Druze community of Yanut Jat in North Israel. He leaves behind a wife and 2-year-old son. Now, he had already distinguished himself in the fight against Hamas, racing south on October 7th to lead members of his tank unit into Kibbutz Be'eri, saving several lives there. Now, just ahead of his funeral last Friday, his widow, Aaron, put out a public statement asking that as many Jews as possible, especially from the north of Israel, come to pay their last respects to him. Well, joining us now is Tamir Habaka. He is the uncle of Lieutenant Colonel Salman Habaka from the Jat Yanut village. Tamir, thanks for joining us. And let's talk a little about your uncles. What a remarkable individual he was.
Well, good evening, everyone. It's a huge loss to everyone here in the village and to my family as well. Salman was a great person. What can I say? He was a great father. He was a great brother. He was a great friend. He was a great family member. When we talk about Salman, we always think about a leader and how he always tried to lead in everything he tried to do. He joined the army and he showed that he is capable of helping and leading other soldiers. In our family, he always tried to push us to our best. And on the other side, he was very modest. If you sat with him, you wouldn't even know that he has this huge role in the army. So to us, it was a huge loss. He always tried to help others. It was crazy.
Right.
When it comes to volunteering, and he always tried to volunteer and support, especially with disabled people. He has a brother, he has a disability, so it was a very sensitive spot. And again, I could talk about Salman.
Well, let's talk about what he did first of all, on October 7th, when literally he came from one end of the country down to the other and put himself at harm's risk to save those people on Kibbutz Be'eri.
Well, Yanut Jat village is really up north. It's close to the Lebanese border. So on the 7th of October, when the atrocity started, Salman didn't talk to anyone. He just took his car, went down south, and his main goal was to save as much as possible. He didn't even talk to his parents, not to his brothers. He told them, I have a job to do, and I need to save as much as possible. We haven't seen him since then, and we always talked, the family members with him on the groups. And he always said, it's our job to stick together. It's our job to protect our country and our people. And he always said, he had two famous sentences that he always said: the man in the tank always wins. And when you hear the rumble of the tank, know that you are safe. And that's what he did. He tried as much as possible when he reached Kibbutz Be'eri to save people. He tried to push back the terrorists as much as possible back into Gaza. And after he succeeded, of course, in saving a lot of people, he joined the forces and he continued pushing them back into Gaza itself. And that's when it happened, like after 3 weeks, when on the 1st of November, he was killed in action.
Right. I was struck by this. He's from the Jewish community, and of course, there's something should be said about the sacrifices being made by the Jewish community throughout the history of Israel, of course, but even just over in the last month, something maybe should be said here about that.
Well, when it comes to us Druze, the Druze community is known for being loyal and being patriot for the country that they live in. To us, when we go back, it's something that people don't understand. We are Druze and we are Arabs, and what happened is not acceptable in any other way. And to us Druze, we never had a country other than Israel. since the beginning of the country in 1948. Nobody, just like people think abroad, nobody kicked us out of our land and nothing. We saw an opportunity to be a part of this great country, which is Israel. And we signed an agreement to serve a mandatory service in the army because it is our duty to help our Jewish friends and to try to keep our country safe as much as possible, not just to our family, but to anyone else that lives here. I think that the main problem is that the world doesn't really see the main picture when it comes to what's happening here in Israel. It's not. I even can't say that it's a war. In my opinion, it's a very bad attack that happened on Israel, and when we see what's happened so far, and we see pictures from both sides, and people don't understand that a lot of women and children were kidnapped, and they didn't do anything. And along the history of wars here in Israel, none of these atrocities have happened. Not a single IDF soldier butchered, killed, or did what these Hamas terrorists did.
Right.
When we say IDF, it's the Israeli Defense Force. Our main goal is to defend our people, our country, and other people from abroad really don't see that. And it's crazy just to see that from a citizen of Israel, that they don't understand that what happened is wrong.
Right. Finally, I want to ask you, because I did read this, so I presume it's accurate, that his widow put out this statement saying that not just family, friends, but invited especially the neighbors from Jewish communities there in the north to come join in the funeral, and the message that sent out about coexistence between the Druze and the majority here at this time.
Well, the main goal was to keep us all together, to keep us united against the main goal and the main enemy, and to show that we are together, we are all in the same boat. When it comes to the relationship between Jews and Druze, it all goes back to the prophet Jethro, and to us in our beliefs that every man, woman, and child had the right to live and had the right to defend their country and the place that they live in. Salman always had a good relationship with the Jewish people. Most of his friends were Jews. He even learned in a Jewish school. So to him, it was, and to all of us, of course, not just him, we're brothers. We're brothers in every way possible. It's either you're a Druze or a Jew. So.
Right, sure. Tamir, of course, we join in the mourning of your family and your community for Salman Habaka. As we say, may his memory be a blessing, and it certainly sounds as if it will be. Thank you for joining us on I-24 News.
Thank you very much, and hopefully that we will eventually vanquish this evil from existence, hopefully.
I'm sure if the spirit of Salman continues with those forces and those young men and women fighting down in Gaza, I'm certain that will be the case. Thank you for joining us.
Hopefully that the kidnapped people will be returned back, of course.
Absolutely.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for joining us.